This is part 2. I feel very, very, very blessed to do this. I really do. Thank you all very much for coming to see this. I'm going to do as best I possibly can to deliver some of the messages that I've learned over the years. I've spent 54 years on this earth, and it's 54 different years. It's not one year repeated 54 times. So that's a blessing I have there. And I really feel very fortunate because I believe that the future is going to be live talks because we need to get together. There's this collective effervescence that happens here. We're here together and the energy is here. We're dialed into the frequency. And I do believe that artificial intelligence is not going to make a big difference with us, right? We needed to be here. We need to be part of this community. We need to learn. We need to get together in groups so we can all grow. We're all going to leave here vibrating at a higher level, a higher frequency. So I always start all of my talks out with a joke. I have a couple of jokes every now and then. So I like this. I like this one. This is a great one. So this couple had a set of twins, and Larry and Barry were their names. So the problem was Larry was always positive. Everything was great. When it was cloudy outside, oh, it's a beautiful day. Sunny outside, it's a beautiful day. Barry, on the other hand, he complained about everything. Everything. It was sunny outside, 70 degrees. He didn't care. He complained. He always complained. As a matter of fact, they even kind of said, between the two of them, they said, that's bad Barry and good Larry. So it's kind of a crazy thing. So what they did was they decided to conjure up some sort of plan, and they said, you know what we're going to do is we want them to be on the equal playing field. We don't care if Barry is really bad and Larry's really, really great. Let's just try to get them both at the same playing field. So what they did was they said, let's put them in a hotel room, different hotel rooms. So what they did is they put Barry in a hotel room with nothing but pizza, ice cream, and video games. Every teenager wants that, right? And they put, positive Larry, they put him in a room with nothing but horse manure. Okay? Put him in there Friday, come back on Sunday, and they go to see Bad Barry first. Bad Barry said, my stomach hurts. The video games were too hard to play. Like, oh my gosh, this guy's still complaining. So then they said, well, it had to be better over with Larry. So they go over to see Larry, and Larry's in there, and he's picking up the horse crap, and he's throwing up in the air. He's throwing up in the air, throwing up in the air, and it's going all over the place. And they're like, oh my gosh, what did we do wrong? And they said, hey, Larry, what's going on? He says, all this horse crap in here, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere. So find your pony. All righty. So this talk will be about 45 minutes long, and like I said, it will have some time for questions afterwards. So the disclaimer I have is this, as kind of I alluded to that earlier, I don't have it together. I mean, I've had self-doubt, I've had depression, I've had anxiety, I've had the gamut of things, and everyone puts on their best face, and that's a great thing, and we're supposed to. But I realize that I don't have it all together, and neither one of you do either. And I know that. That's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. Be vulnerable. I don't have it together. I'm trying my best every day. I'm getting better every day, but still at the same time, I've got a far distance to go, and I'm ready to make that travel. My alter ego is EHB. What does that stand for? If you guys ever see a lot of my quotes that I put up on Facebook and different things, I have about over 100 quotes. And EHB stands for enlightening human beings. That's my purpose in life. That's what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet. So, and I always go back to that alter ego, and my purpose in life is to enlighten human beings. So how do I enlighten human beings? Someone wants to get into the line with me when I'm at a stoplight? Sure, no problem. And I always look at it from that lens. I always look at what can I do to make sure I enlighten human beings? This is part of enlightening human beings. This is exactly where it is. People say, well, what if you talk about this? Well, that doesn't really jive with me. It doesn't make me want to enlighten human beings that way. My job, my purpose in life is to enlighten human beings. I look at it from everything I do, every lens I use. All righty, so I'm going to tell you what I do. We're going to go through, and we're going to go through 10 principles, okay? And then we'll do a review at the end. And whose birthday is in January? Awesome. Both of you guys, it's great. You guys will do a full review for us at the end. Now you're going to start taking notes, right? That's right. So the neat thing about this is present time consciousness. All we have is the now. So as we are here, we are supposed to be here, present with us. Most the biggest gift you can give to anyone is your own presence. And that's the goal we have. be here now. We worry about the past. We lament about the future. But only thing God gave us is this time right now. Now, if you start to think about that and dive in a little deeper, if you think about bonus days, have you guys ever heard about bonus days? So I've had a lot of bonus days. Has anyone ever done anything that could have killed them? Did you guys drive here? Right? Could have killed you, right? From that day forward, every day you have is a bonus day. So what do you do with that bonus day? Is you live in the present. You live present time consciousness. You're present with people. And that's the biggest thing. I see this all the time. And I fall short of this all the time. Oh, maybe I'm scrolling through, Andrew and I always talk about, we have a lot of time together, but sometimes I'm not as present as I need to be. And the presence, it makes the biggest difference, because we can worry about the future and lament about the past, but the biggest goal we have is the time we have right now. It's the only thing promised to us. And that being said, I love the fact that you guys have decided to give your presence to me. Thank you very much. Event plus response equals outcome. So I figured I'd get an equation in here early with you guys. So event is here, response, outcome. Of this equation, the only thing you have control over is your response. You have events that happen in your life. I'm sorry, shit happens, right? It does. We have these events. Only thing we can control is our response, and it will change your outcome. So the neat thing about that is there's a neat thing I have about this. I had a car that was backing up out of my driveway, out of my garage, and as I'm backing it up, I hit the rearview mirror. So I was like, oh man, this is a bummer. So anyway, I'm driving it on 70. I'm getting ready to go to Health Unlimited to go work out. So I was like, oh man, this thing's like there, and it's kind of dangling. And I was like, all right, well, Andrew, here it is. Event plus response equals outcome. Let's see how it goes, right? What's my response to that? So I went into a level of gratitude, right? Level of gratitude. I got in a car that I own. I pulled out of a garage that was warm. I'm going to work out, and then later on I'm going to be adjusting to the world's greatest patients. So of course, that response is going to change that outcome. So anyway, I go into Health Unlimited, pull into the parking lot, and I see my light. I see the rearview mirror, and I take it, and I just see it, and I just put it right back in. I kind of give it a chiropractic adjustment on the car. But anyway, so what happened with that, which is neat. Now, the other side of that too is, though, so that was the event. I had no control over it. The outcome was directly predicated by my response. This gets a little deeper. Do I think that metal and plastic changed on the highway as I was driving because my response was different? Yes, I do. I think that my response changed some things. Until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to go with that. So it's a good thing. So you never know what's going to come your way. And the neat thing about this is between the stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space, you can choose your response. And that is where you find freedom and happiness. Viktor Frankl wrote that. Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, phenomenal book. Anybody that's an Austrian psychologist that spent most of his adult life in the Nazi concentration camps would be a good one to read. So think about that. He even knew that. He said the events were happening. He could only control his response. So watch your response. Affirmation. So I am prosperous. I am fearless. I am decisive. I am energetic. I am action-oriented. I'm a great husband. I'm a great chiropractor. I'm a great businessman. I eat healthy foods. I make healthy decisions. I'm getting better in every way, and I'm a leader. That's my affirmation. So think about that. If you start with an affirmation like that, and affirmations are I am statements. The easiest way I ever made an affirmation was what I think I am here and what I want to be, right? So I am statements. I am. So when you do that, you tap into the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind, it's the part of our mind that really takes direction from our inner dialogue. And whether we lie to it or tell it the truth, it doesn't matter. It's our inner dialogue that is there. The subconscious mind is going to find everything that you want in your life by the way you talk to your mind. So if you want to, affirmations can be either positive or negative, right? Everything I just said there was a positive affirmation. A lot of people spend their lives doing negative affirmations, and they can become exactly what they don't want to become, right? How's that? Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I'm overweight, or whatever the case is. We beat ourselves up, and that's one of the slides that we'll be coming up to soon here as well. We beat ourselves up for no reason. So these affirmations are so powerful. They tap into our subconscious mind and it changes our world. So we start off every shift with an affirmation. We are the world's greatest chiropractic office, and we are here to serve humanity with loving care. That's how we start off. That's how we're vibrating before we put our hands on a single patient. What a great blessing that is. I help a lot of younger chiropractors that are starting off, and they said, Dr. Andrew, I really like your affirmation. Can you help me out? I said, sure, I can help you out. This is the perfect one. You can say, we are the world's second greatest chiropractic office, and we are here to serve humanity with loving care. Visualization. So this is a really cool with this there. So, what do you see in your mind's eye? And especially with, what do you see in your mind's eye? So the neat thing with this is the University of Chicago did a real cool thing where they said, we want you to visualize. They took three groups of people. And what they did was they said, they got a baseline on how many free throws they could shoot. Okay? How many free-throw basketball shots they could shoot. Got that baseline. Then they broke up those students into three different groups. One group, we said, listen, we don't want you to do anything. Just go about your life, drink the keg beer you've been drinking all your life anyway. So go back and do those things. The second group, we want you to practice a half an hour a day. So go there, take your shots, practice half an hour a day. The third group, they said, we don't want you to do anything. We just want you to go to the gym and visualize yourself making that shot every single time. Right? So those people would just sit there in their mind's eye and they would just constantly bounce, shoot, swish, shoot, swish, shoot, swish, shoot, swish. 30 days later, they do another baseline. What happens with the group that was drinking keg beer all the whole time? As you'd expect, nothing, right? Some of them got better, some got worse. Baseline stayed the same. What happened to the group that was actually practice? Physically got in the gym a half an hour a day, and they practiced 24% increase in field goal shotting, right? Field goal percentage. Fantastic, great, right? The group that visualized, 23%. 1% different. Could you imagine if you combined both of those? Right? So think about like that. When we visualize, we're almost practicing to another level. So visualization works. So visualize exactly what you want out of this world and what you want out of your life, and therefore that will become your reality. I'll show you a cool thing about visualization here. We're going to tie in visualization and affirmations right now. You guys ready for it? Here we go. So what we're going to do is this. You're going to take your hands, okay? Everyone has a line down right where your palm meets your wrist, okay? Right where your palm meets your wrist. We'll call it a line on you women, a wrinkle on you guys. So this is how it goes. You're going to take those lines, okay? Those lines down here, the very first line that you come to at your palm and your wrist, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to match the two of them up together and then come into a praying hand like that. And the way this works here is you're going to, inevitably most people have a hand that's longer than the other. So what I want you to do is you're going to take your shorter hand, all right? You're going to take your shorter hand and we are going to pull back the long hand and we're going to look at the palm of the shorter hand. Now we're going to say this together.
What do you know how short?
Choose whatever hand you want. For sure, absolutely. Choose whatever hand you want. So that's the great thing. If you are equal, not a problem. Choose the hand that you want and we'll see what happens with that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make that short hand longer. Are you guys ready for that? All right, here we go. So what we're going to do is you're going to look and visualize at your hand with power, intention, and affirmations we're going to say, okay? So we're going to tie in the affirmation and the visualization in this exercise. So this is it goes. Here we go. So we're going to look at this hand and we're going to say this 8 times. Grow longer. We're going to say that 8 times when I say we're going to start with that. This is being videotaped and this is going to be great. I love it. So, all right, here we go. So we're going to say this 8 times. You guys ready? Grow longer. 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 Match those things back up. Bring your hands back together.
Did
it? Did it?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it did. Who did that work for? Real cool, isn't it? Yeah, real cool. It doesn't work on wallets or pocketbooks or anything like that. So that's the neat thing about that is that, so like the visualization, your affirmation and your visualization of that. You saw your palm grow longer and it grew longer. Real cool thing. So pretty cool thing. I want you guys to share that with people too. And I may never invite you back, and that's fine. If they don't, that's a good way of weeding out people. It really is a good way of weeding out people. It's always a great thing. It's a great way of weeding people out of your life. So grit and perseverance. So the neat thing about this is buffaloes in the Midwest prairie and cows in the Midwest prairie. So cool thing about those guys is this. When the big storms come across the Midwest, what do the buffaloes do? They go into the storm. The cows, they run away from the storm. The buffaloes know that if they run into the storm, they know that they can get through the storm and there's clearing on the other side. The cows think they can outrun the storm, and they are getting pelted the whole time as the storm is right over top of them the whole time. So what does that have to do with grit and perseverance? You're going to have storms in your life. You're going to have a storm tomorrow. It happens. Maybe it's just a small storm. These storms happen, and when these storms happen, we need to charge through and move through these things because we can't stop these storms from happening. And so what happens, that event, then we work with our response. So, the whole idea behind that is we want that knight in shining armor. That knight in shining armor has never been tested. The chinks in the armor have to happen. So they did a real neat study with Arizona State University. They did the Biosphere 2. Has anyone heard of the Biosphere 2? Good. So the Biosphere 2 is a really neat thing. What they did with this is this. In the desert, they developed this greenhouse. And in the greenhouse, they put the best water, the best soil, and the best nutrients, and obviously the best sunlight, being in the Arizona desert. And what they did is they put the best plants in there, and then what they found was these plants were flourishing and that sort of thing, but the trees would grow up to a certain level and topple over. They're like, what's going on with these trees? Why are they toppling over? Is there something wrong with the tree? What they found was there was no wind inside the Biosphere 2. So the wind made that tree stronger, dug the roots deeper so it could handle it. So grit and perseverance need to happen. You need consistent persistence every single day, consistent persistence. I always say to myself, another affirmation is, what will you do, Andrew? Whatever it takes. What will you do, Andrew? Whatever it takes. What will you do, Andrew? Whatever it takes. You have to. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. You have to. So entertainment versus education. I'm probably speaking to the choir at this point. So this is a neat thing. This is from Brian Tracy. So Brian Tracy's theory is that we are 50-1. We are 50 parts entertainment to 1 part education. Guess what? You guys are educating yourselves right now, and I'm educating myself as well. So we become a society of being entertained and numbed to all these things. And sometimes I wonder whether society doesn't want us to be educated to what level that we should be educated to. And that's a big problem. So if you want to be a leader in your industry, I'm not saying you have to be 1-to-1. If you were 25-to-1, you'd make a huge difference. A huge difference in your industry and in your life and the people around you. We never realize, there's a quote that I had earlier. It said, we never realize how expensive a TV is. A television is. We never realize how expensive it is. And they talk about abundant, enlightened people have big libraries, and people that are living, just existing, have big TVs. So TVs are expensive. Do everything you can to constantly upgrade your operating system. And there truly is no excuse right now. How much of this stuff is free? We have great libraries. We have all these great talks that have been put up on YouTube where we can learn and bathe ourselves and get ourselves the knowledge we need to be a better part of society. We owe it to society. I'm not saying you don't have to be entertained. You should be entertained. That's fine. But we have to do everything we can to also work towards our education. And when we're driving in our car, these cars could be mobile learning devices, right? We're just driving around. We should be listening to great stuff. Because a lot of times the news and a lot of the songs we listen to, it becomes bubblegum for the ears. So what can we do to make sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure we are working more towards the education level and try to limit a little bit more of the entertainment? So character. So this is a neat one about this. So Tony the Builder, right? He was getting ready to he was getting ready to retire. Okay, so he goes to his he was a builder for many, many years, and he worked for a guy, and the guy says, he goes, hey, boss, I'm going to retire, and I'm actually going to get ready to leave, and I'm going to be, taking off some time, and we're got plans to go to Florida and that sort of thing. So his boss says, Tony, you've worked for me for 30 years. Is there a potential that you build me one more house? And Tony's like, oh, boss, we already got plans. We're getting ready to go to Florida. Come on now. I can't do this. He says, please, Tony, just one more house. So Tony begrudgingly says yes. He's not happy with it, but he says yes. And he finishes the house in the fastest time he ever has. But the problem was the doors didn't shut, the windows didn't match up, and all the seams weren't great. The trim never matched up. It was really a shoddy job. So he goes to his boss and says, here's the keys to the house, boss. I am done. I'm going to retire. His boss says, Tony, you know something? You've worked for me and with me for the past 30 years. I feel very blessed that you were with us for so long. And I really want to give you a gift. And here's the keys to your house. So think about whose house are you building? And the whole idea behind that is that, who are you when no one is watching? So the character, realize that no one is watching and everyone is watching. So I always I look at these things and say, do you put your cart back? Do you smile at someone that needs a smile? Do you compliment someone that needs to be complimented? Do you do charitable acts without being recognized? Right? Do you call a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time? Where's your character? Because we are supposed to be the change that we are supposed to be the change we want to see in this world, according to Gandhi. So let's be that change. Let's elevate our character, make sure we are doing all these things because everyone is watching and no one is watching. Your longest relationship. This always seems to be the case that and I'm not trying to be sexist, but it always seems to be the case with females. And I'm not trying to be sexist. Your longest relationship is going to be with yourself. We know that, right? And we need to establish that relationship to be a wholehearted and loving relationship, because you cannot give love if you can't even provide yourself with self-love. And it's been said, if I were to speak to you the way you speak to yourself, you wouldn't like me very much. That's where affirmations come into play there. So we need to do everything we can to make sure we build ourselves up in strong and noble thought. We beat ourselves up all the time, and it's not the way it should be. So Andrea and I have this thing sometimes. She's finally, after 25 years, we've kind of got to figure it out with this. It's good. I'll say something to her. I'll say, honey, that's a really nice looking blouse on you, or whatever the case is. And she would negate my compliment. So she would downplay herself. And she says, oh, this old thing. And she used to get upset with it. So now, I don't recommend you guys do this, okay? But anyway, so now what I do is I say, honey, that's a beautiful looking sweater, a beautiful looking blouse. And if she says anything to negate my compliment, I just say, shut up. It's the only time I'm allowed to say shut up without getting in big trouble. So it's, and that's what we need to do. We need to do everything we possibly can to build ourselves up and strong enough thought. You can't be loved unless you can give self-love. And you can't give out love if you don't have self-love. And that's a big issue. We need to do everything we can to make sure we do as best we can with that self-love. So, the other thing is you'll have people in your life that beat you down, right? People are out there, they want to beat you down because they want to beat you down because they can't be self-loved. So if they see you're self-loving, they don't want to be part of that, and they'll beat you down. I always do this, and this is a neat thing that someone taught me years ago. I said, so-and-so was getting on my nerves are grinding me. Oh, man, goodness. And they said, you know what? Go home tonight and pray and thank God that you're not that person, because that person's miserable. So and that's a great thing. It's, you realize, and that person, because that person is miserable 24/7. They only made you miserable for 2 minutes. So pronoia. So this is a real interesting thing. So I'm going to. Just had some. I've been taking this new drug. It's awesome. It's called Lefay. Have you guys had it yet? It's Lefay. It's awesome. You mix it with water. It's actually free. So it's when you guys get home, please Google it. I'm high on it right now. I know I probably should be doing a talk when I'm high on something like that. But anyway, so Lefay. So please Please Google it when you guys get home. It's spelled L-I-F-E, and I'm high on it right now. And if you Google it and you complain to me later on, say, you jackass, what the heck? Yeah, so this is the whole idea behind this, is that you need to be high on life. There's so many blessings we have in this world. What is pronoia? Pronoia is what I suffer from. What pronoia is that the universe, the world, God is trying to make my life better every single step of the way. Now, does it always work out like that? Yes, because I have created that. I keep on seeing these things come my way, and I realize God, universe, God, whatever the case is, He is allowing me to live a great life. He is creating my life the way I want it to be created. And I think the universe is out, and God is out there to make me better and give me a better aspect on life because of what He gives me. Now, the reticular activation system. So here we go. I'll pick on Noel. What kind of car do you drive? An Acura. Acura. Good. You guys need a loan? Talk to Noel. So, so after you bought your Acura, did you realize that everyone had an Acura? You saw them everywhere, right? So that's the reticular activation system. So reticular activation system is a part of our brain that actually will show us exactly our highest thoughts. So what are our highest thoughts? You buy an Acura and you want some sort of buyer confirmation, and you start to see these Acuras everywhere, right? So the same thing happens when you start to think the world is full of strife, hardship, and poverty. You are going to see strife, hardship, and poverty because that is exactly what your brain and your mind is attaching to. So the other way of doing that is start seeing the great things. Start suffering from pronoia, and you will see more of those things. So this is the last slide. There is no finish line, though. The best time to plant a tree is 100 years ago. The second best time is today. So you guys are you're already ahead of the game. You have to do everything you can to constantly build yourself in strong and noble thought, work on these success principles, learn and surround yourself with great people. And that's going to be the biggest thing from you, because our job in this world is to be the best we possibly can. We've only been given this one life on this earth. So shouldn't we do as best we can to glorify this earth and glorify our maker? Isn't that our job? So there is no finish line. So your goal is to constantly and never ending keep on improving those things. So there's a great quote from Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. He says, it takes half of your life to realize that your life is a do-it-yourself project, right? Half of your life to realize that. It's a do-it-yourself project. No one's coming to save us. Our job is, as best we possibly can, to keep on building ourselves up so we can do everything we can to make this world a better world. Because how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? And how would people describe you now? Are you happy with that description? Great. If you're not, change, right? Or change your friends. Alrighty, so let's go ahead. So we went over those 10 really quickly. I hope it wasn't too quickly, but we are going to go through, we're going to do a recap real quickly right now. So here it comes with the fire hose. Present time consciousness, live in the present, okay? Event plus response equals outcome. Out of that equation, what do we have control over? We only have control over the response. And response will change your outcome. Affirmations, I am statements. I am, I am, I am. Visualization, make your hand grow longer. Visualize what you want in the world, not what you don't want in the world. Grit and perseverance. We are going to have storms. We need to charge through those storms. Be the buffalo. Don't let the storm carry you through, as the cows do. Entertainment versus education. So remember how much a television cost you. Character. Build yourself up in strong and noble thought. You want people to be a different person after they get to meet you. Your longest relationship. Love yourself. Love yourself. Pronoia, suffer from it, realize that the world is out there to make your life better, and there is no finish line. Constantly and continually improve upon yourself. Great stuff, guys. Appreciate y'all.